You're about to listen to a podcast full of wonder, excitement, and discovery. It's time for an adventure through Odyssey. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Adventures Through Odyssey podcast, Odyssey Revisited. I'm Will here with John and Leah, and today we're going to tackle Album 7, but before we start, I have a pre-show announcement. We're going to Disney World, baby, and you can join us on the trip.
No. That's not true.
Just
It's possible he might be going to Disney World at some point. That's just what he does. However, we are not all going. Second, we are not inviting people to go along with us.
Today we're going to cover Album 7 on Thin Ice, and this album is a lot better than I remember it being. Spoiler warning. What was
Didn't
that?
we already do this one?
I don't think so.
I think he just keeps talking about it so much that we think we've already done it.
Okay.
I thought we didn't. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, let's do a second version.
Now that John has said this, I'm checking our podcast listing to make sure.
The audience is like, shouldn't you, first, shouldn't you have already checked that? Second, why is John just remembering this off the cuff without any prior research? Of course not. Of course not, dear viewer. Would
no,
we be that?
We have not done it.
Okay, maybe what
Okay.
happened, I think maybe what happened was we were scheduled to do it and we didn't.
That's very possible, too. Okay.
I have not reviewed these episodes, so
Thankfully, I
there
did.
are like half of them that I actually remember. Well,
Let me
that's
put
good.
it this way. If the last album we did was supposed to be Robin Jacobs' album, this is the Barkley album. So starting
That's
off...
of many albums.
Well, that's true, but... Starting off, Isaac the Insecure. Isaac Morton wants to be just like Jack Davis, but when the two are partnered up for a school assignment, it seems clear that Jack doesn't want anything to do with Isaac. So first off, super ironic line, because Isaac says to Lucy, Jack would never be interested in someone like us. Which is kind of ironic, but... Because this is the Jack Lucy winds up marrying.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
So this
Okay.
is,
I don't remember this episode, so.
do you remember this episode, John?
I'm not gonna lie, can you repeat the plot summary for me
It's the
real
one where
quick?
the two kids write the paper about C.S. Lewis.
Oh my gosh. Oh. You just struck something that's like very faintly in the back of my head. Like, I say a lot of things about episodes being forgettable, but let's be fair here.
This
I
one's
remember
forgettable.
listening to this and I just barely, like, you could have told me this and I would have been like, that might have existed. Like, the fact that you're saying it, I think it is, but oh my gosh, I think this is actually a good thing of a completely forgettable episode.
Well, I remember it as the weird corporate synergy we're writing a paper about C.S. Lewis episode. So,
Yeah. Oh, he's with Jack Davis and, like, he thinks he's avoiding work.
but he's really doing all the work in secret because he's embarrassed about how good at school Isaac is.
Which is kind of stupid.
I mean, it's one of those weird payoffs where, and because the teacher confronts him, it's, oh, he wasn't really hiding, but what was going to happen the day of the presentation?
I know, like, I get it's like, oh, well, one, I want to know what grade these guys are in. Because, like, I don't know who assigns, like, group reports in, like, elementary school.
I
don't know. I feel like it's got to see characters in elementary
Yeah,
school.
here's the thing,
At
I
least
had a
ones
few
you have to
group-
work on outside of class.
Right.
So I guess they have to at least be junior high.
Yeah, I would assume so. Alrighty. The very best of friends. Donna realizes she's still bitter about Karen's death a year after she has died. At the same time, Jimmy and Oscar put on a Shakespeare play. So, this is a bizarre middle chapter to a trilogy of episodes when you really stop to think about it.
Wait, What's the last?
The
thing of
one where
trilogy?
Jimmy goes through puberty because the Shakespeare thing comes back up.
Oh, I think I don't know if that really should be part of it. It's just kind of like breaks with, goes with that kind of thing.
True.
I think it's a very interesting thing to do, to just be like, oh, it's like it just kind of like they bring up this serious episode from, was it actually like a broadcasting year ago?
It was probably about a broadcast year later, yeah.
Yeah, probably like a year or two.
Well, it's been a year in canon, so I'm going to kind of say it's about the right time.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good in that regard. I feel like maybe they should have had an episode just focused on Donna and like this whole situation,
And not
because I
do
think
the
they could have
silliness.
done more with it.
Yeah.
They should have had a more serious episode.
Right. Well, I went back to listen to Karen, and in a weird way, it's a good payoff, because the episode ends with Donna and Whit talking about how she's still kind of grieving, and then we just kind of have the cat show up, and it's this super happy ending, but we never really go any further than that. So I like that we kind of go back to address Donna still has a lot of thoughts, and honestly, I always kind of forget Karen is technically an episode about Donna, because that was still from the phase where they were kind of rotating through different kids, but had voice actors voice a lot of the same kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Karen's voiced by the girl who wound up voicing Robin, so it's kind of one of those, oh, right, that is technically Donna, so...
Though I think they made it sound, if it is, they made him sound just different enough.
Yeah.
Where I'm not like, oh, that's
Right.
specifically that.
Oh, yeah. Leah, do you have any thoughts?
Okay, now I will say I've never listened to Karen because when I was little, like, I was just terrified to listen to it, and now I feel like I'd be so sad if I listened to it. And so just like, I don't know, when you first said we're doing album 7 or whatever, I was like, oh, I gotta listen to that, and I never did. So.
Well, this isn't really Karen, it's the 1 year later thing.
Yeah, but in my head, I have to listen to Karen before I
Right.
listen to this one.
Okay, true. But I will say, because the episode opens with the whole Donna being nominated to host a variety show, I'm surprised no one stepped in and said, hey, her best friend did that last year right before she died. That might not be something she's comfortable doing. Right. The reluctant rival. Whit's granddaughter, Jenny Whittaker Dowd, is given a special violin solo, which causes friction with the other children.
Oh, okay. Well, this is part of the weird trilogy where, like, not trilogy, but just series of episodes where Whit's kids are visiting for some reason.
Right. I mean, it's Christmas, although they're there for quite a long time and do a lot.
There's
But-
so much. Oh, you go, Leah.
I think they were there for so long because it's like when their parents were getting divorced and stuff, so it was kind of like a transition time for them.
They mentioned their dad's been divorced for a year or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were divorced in the
wow.
first appearance, I thought.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it just happened when Monty shows up in album 1.
okay, that makes
There,
sense.
in my opinion, there's so much in this episode, like, to be mad about the characters about.
Right. Well, because here's the thing. I'm kind of on the side of the mom whose kid didn't get the solo in the first place.
Okay, there's a lot to be upset. Like, 'cause here's the thing. I do agree. Like, that person should not have been like, oh, this person, I'm going to give you the solo even though you're not an actual part of our orchestra and are just here for a little bit of time.
Right.
However, I don't think, like, the fact that it's like, it's Mr. Whittaker's granddaughter. Like, that's such a lame excuse. And then how she's super nice after she purposefully, like, that girl's so nice to her after, the granddaughter purposefully botches the solo.
Yeah, that is very true. I will say,
Like, that's so, like, that to me is, like, so, like, that girl being like, oh, I know I got it. And it was just her being nice. But, like, that's so, like, ugh to me that she's like, if she knew that she really sang well and, like, she botched it on purpose, that'd be one thing. But the fact that she doesn't really know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Ugh.
And because this episode's weirdly two-handed, because Whit's daughter gives us whole speech about, oh, Jenny's so special and this happens all the time, da-da-da-da. It doesn't come off as a parent being delusional, but it does come off as a parent who maybe has some aspiration issues.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing that she is Mr. Whitaker's granddaughter. Like,
Yeah.
that it seems like they're showing favor, of some sort.
Although I will...
Not just that it happens to her all the time. Because...
Although I will say, one of my favorite subtle scenes is when Jenny and Monty are walking and they're confronted by those girls, and Monty basically just removes them from a situation as quickly as possible. Clearly, okay, he's been through this a lot, and even though he and his sister don't always get along, he kind of knows to pull her out.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I actually like some of, like, I like the idea. Like, I don't think the episode's fundamentally flawed. Like, I get the point they're trying to do. It's just there's so much where in real life it'd be so infuriating. Like, it's just frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I'm sorry if you guys can hear my roommate singing, but there's not much I can do about it.
Alrighty. Monty's Christmas. Frustrated that his mother always insults his father, Monty Whitaker Dowd tries to find a way to escape from his family's problems.
Is this where him and Connie, like, meet each other at the mall?
Yes, it is.
Like, run into each other? Okay, I do like this episode because, like, it's part of Connie's, like, whole story, I feel like. And her starting to relate to all the kids and stuff.
Right. Absolutely. And I think it gives an interesting side of kind of divorce a lot of shows don't give, that, even if the father isn't there, it's still okay for the kids to miss them because they weren't involved in all of the shakedown. We don't even really get that with Grady later on.
Right.
So...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I do kind of like the scene...
True.
What?
Very true.
I do like the scene, though, where they're at the mall and Connie cannot pick out the right outfit for her dad.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She's dragging this little kid around with her.
And this is, of course, the episode with the glass angel.
Oh, yeah, that was sad.
I know. Well, I think here's the thing.
But then they have the, like... Wait, go.
Well, the episode plays it as the mom is upset that he broke the angel because of something to do with the dad. But, I mean, it sounds like it's a family heirloom, so...
I really like this episode and how they all, like, bring together, because don't they have, like, the big snowball fight or whatever at the end?
Yes, they do.
Okay, I'm remembering this correctly, yes, and I liked that part.
Right.
That was fun.
Actually, I kind of like all of this mini arc of Whit's grandkids visiting over Christmas.
Yeah, I always like all the, like, Whit stories with, like, the family episodes. Those are always good.
I sort of wish we would have given more of that as opposed to some lip service and Green Ring conspiracy.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Monty,
yeah.
wow. And how come Monty aged so much and Connie literally did not?
Because Mr. Whitaker is a Time Lord.
Oh, she's
right.
Amy.
Exactly.
So where's her Rory?
I think his name is Jeff.
Oh, let's hope so.
You ship it. Alrighty, the visitors. The Barkley family finds a family huddling in their shed and are uncomfortable with them staying. After the family has left, the Barkleys realize they made a big mistake and go looking for them. So I have no basis for this, but I seem to recall this being the first episode I ever heard.
Wow.
Isn't it also the first episode they, like, dubbed in Spanish?
Yes.
Or something like that?
The much more interesting fact, it's the first episode they dubbed in Spanish.
Yes. I don't know. I never really know what to think. Because, I mean, I get the whole thing where it's supposed to be, like, at the end that it's like, oh, it really wasn't like it was like God telling him to go find this family that really needed help. Which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, it always left me wondering, where's the other family? Like,
I think
it was supposed to be God.
Or like angels or something.
Angels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because literally, like, this family appeared out of nowhere.
Right.
And the other ones completely disappeared. Like, that was kind of strange.
Yeah. I mean, I get it's supposed to be kind of like a Christian take on a Christmas ghost story, but...
Well, I also don't... like they're upset where they're like, oh, we pawned them off. But like, I don't think it's crazy to be like, hey, let's see if there's a place we can get you to help, like for help.
I mean,
And
dumping
like
them
they call
on
Wit,
Wit
because
was
Wit
a
would
little
probably know.
strange. So,
But like Wit decides to take them. Like they call Wit, if I recall correctly, they call Wit to see like, oh, is this like,
oh yeah.
is there a place you know where I could take them? And Wit just decides to take them.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And I feel like them to be like, we pawned them off on Wit. It's like, no, I don't. I mean, yeah, it's nice if you give them like shelter, but to be like, oh, well, like, let's see if there's a place that can help them better. It's kind of like,
Right.
though it does work. This album has a lot, like, if you notice, a lot of callbacks to
Yes.
a previous episode, because it also has the callback where they're like, last year when all our stuff was robbed. I think that's a good point to make, more so than like we pawned them off on Wit. More that,
Right.
oh, everyone helped us last year and we couldn't help them this year.
Right. Well, the lesson of the episode kind of turns out to be we're doing this because we feel bad, but are we really doing it because it's the right thing to do?
I don't even know. I don't think
They have a
that
long talk about
was-
this in the
I mean-
car.
the mess. Oh yeah, they do have that. And then that other random family shows up, and it's like, huh.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we did the right thing because we found someone that was in need. But
Exactly.
I mean, I would call Wit too, because it's like he's a capable person knowing like what should happen in that situation.
I don't disagree with that, Leah.
But I mean,
Honestly, probably one of my favorite Odyssey Christmas episodes. So,
yeah, I do. I have listened to this one a lot because it's
Yeah.
good.
maybe we'll review the Spanish version someday.
No,
Okay.
please, no.
Alrighty. The Barkley family ski vacation. The Barkleys go skiing, Donna Barkley develops a crush on her instructor, and George comes to grip with his daughter growing up. So, why is it every time the daughter has a crush, the dad freaks out and just like everything?
It's
Because-
it's like the daddy-daughter relationship. It's
What-
like being protective.
I know, but here's
Can
the
I
thing.
just say this? The
Yeah.
most memorable thing about this episode is Mr. Barkley yelling like no.
Yes.
Doesn't he do that?
Yeah, when the
Or like
mom's
he
about to say it.
screams. Where the mom's like, I think our girl has a little. Don't you say it.
Right? No.
Oh, here's the
I
thing.
would have woken up if I was Donna at that point.
Oh yeah, I think they were in the ski lodge cafe. That's what I always assumed.
Yeah.
But-
I think
I thought no, they were like in their
They-
ski lodge at night.
they do
Oh.
have some scenes with that. I don't think that's a scene where they say the crush part. Because they're like
Oh.
looking at Donna, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
With-
talking to the ski instructor.
Now again, I do like the ski instructor doesn't really realize what's going on, so it's not like oh what a jerk.
Well, I don't know, but I will say I think this is actually one of the first episodes I ever heard. Like I remember listening to this when I was 5,
Okay.
and I love this episode because well, they're fighting in the car, aren't they? Like
Yes.
Jimmy and Donna
Oh yeah.
on the way, and like Gabe, Elizabeth, and I spent a lot of time like in car road trips in the car,
I'm
sitting
sure.
next to each other in the back seat and stuff, and so that was always relatable for me when I was little.
Right.
But I love her friend in this episode.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And is it like her duck sweater I think that she's wearing?
It's something like that. Yes.
And I will say this, that I don't remember if this takes place after or before. I think it's before. Is that
Staycation one.
yeah, the staycation
Yeah.
references this one's going to happen, right?
Yeah, because they're like we can't take a summer trip if we're going skiing this winter. So
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
like, huh?
It finally makes sense.
They actually had this all planned out, and then it's just
Right. Yeah, a fun episode. Solid message, but we need to like meme that or something. Mr. Barkley just
I don't know. It
shouted
was at least him being like ah or something.
was
No,
like,
yeah, because she was
"No!"
like, it's developing a little. No, don't you say it, don't you say it. And his voice just got louder and louder. No, no.
But again, every kid show makes that joke, and granted, John and I don't have a sister, so maybe that would have affected things differently. But
What about Hershey and Gracie?
well, a sister who would have developed a crush on a human, that would have freaked my dad out.
I mean, I don't know. He's pretty protective of Gracie.
Ain't that the truth? We'll post a link to Gracie's Instagram in the show notes.
We probably won't.
Plug.
No, I'll definitely remember to do that. All right, everyone. Episode 100, by the way, ice fishing. Tom, Whit, Eugene, and Monty go ice fishing. Monty worries about living up to his sister's example.
Yes, I have heard this one a lot too because I think on the CDs it was like right after the ski one.
That sounds
So-
right.
I like would fall asleep to this every night for years.
Oh, yeah.
And this is with the train cars too, right?
This is the one that opens with Monty making a kind of a iffy train car.
Yeah. I like this one because, well, and this is where his sister like comes back from the library or the bookstore or whatever with the book that Eugene wants.
Yes, which I think kind of implies to me she and Eugene are like on the same level mentally, and I wish they had spent more time together.
Yeah.
That was an interesting dynamic. Like, that could have been explored more. Not like in a weird way, but
Right.
it just is an actually interesting character interaction.
No one was thinking
Yeah,
that,
I
John,
was
but
like,
okay.
whoa. And then they walked out of the room and we never heard about it again.
Yeah.
Volume. It was like, volume what? I've been looking for volume whatever. 24. Which is funny, because nowadays, it wouldn't be a problem at all, because you could just order it online super easily.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, and then we get kind of weirdly uptight about Eugene, Tom.
Yes, because this is where he's like, why can't he just say hello or a
Yes.
howdy? It has to be.
Oh yeah,
La la la. That was one of my favorite parts.
I know.
I feel like Tom was always an interesting character, because he just kind of felt like, I mean, Bernard was grumpy, but like, Tom always felt like he had grudges against people.
That is kind of true.
like he had the whole he like in this episode he was genuinely peeved
That is
with
true.
Eugene, not like comically so. And then there was the whole thing with Richard Maxwell, which there was reason behind that, but he like held on to that grudge for a long time. Like, there's something in his character where he I feel like he legitimately gets upset at characters,
Right.
and
then
like
he-
doesn't want to get over it.
Yeah. So I will say though, the joke I had not listened to this episode in years. The joke about old Grundy at the end did make me laugh, just because Eugene's got a point. If he's been almost caught that many times, he almost would be inedible. So
Yeah.
but it is. I also kind of laughed at Tom getting egg on his face. That wouldn't Tom know to drill where the ice is thinner?
I feel like he's probably one of those guys who just goes out there, you know,
Well, that's
not necessarily.
That's not even a science thing. I feel like that's just fishing knowledge.
I don't know. Well,
Have you ever gone ice fishing?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I was just curious.
But yeah, Monty's
You
inferiority.
want to drill?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, you want to drill where it's thinner, but like, don't they sit like right by the hole?
Yes.
Like, but then wouldn't you fall in?
I don't think that's how it works. We
I
know
don't know.
nothing about ice fishing, people. But yeah. The only real complaint I have is Monty's inferiority complex winds up not playing a lot into the episode. Wit clears it up pretty quickly. But okay then. Ooh. 101, Scattered Seeds. Connie directs one of Wit's plays called The Sower and the Seeds. But when the cast starts abandoning her, she has to find ways to deal with it.
Well, what's weird is she's trying to write like an article for like the paper or something,
No, she's
right?
she's trying to write a book in the way Wit writes his books.
Right, or so she's trying to write something, and then they're like, nothing interesting happens to me. Well, what about what happened with the play? And that make a pretty good story. And I'm just like, Not really.
That's not a story. It's just a weird thing that happened.
I wouldn't read it.
Eh. True.
I'd listen to it, but
Right.
I wouldn't read it.
So, the issues I had is, why are Wit's grandkids in this thing? Don't they have to go home?
Yeah, right. This is like the last episode with them in it, right?
Yes, they don't like have an official departure episode, which I always found weird.
Yeah.
And
it's just like, it doesn't make sense why they'd be there enough time for them to be in a play.
unless it was like performed a week later, but I do find it funny the first rehearsal Wit's gone, it all goes up in smoke.
Yeah.
Although I will say, with Jenny needing to perform the line perfectly, I've definitely worked with those people before.
Yeah, but then she should have studied for it. Like, that's what I don't get.
That's true, too. She had 3 practices.
Right. Like, the kind of people like that, yeah, they want to get it perfect, but they've normally, like, studied their lines for it.
Right.
Like, at least her personality. Like, where she is, like, that intellectual, or, like, trying to be and, like, reading that much and all that stuff. Like, she'd be the type of person who already has them memorized, which is a problem.
Absolutely. Anything else?
No.
Other than that scene where they basically throw Lucy under the bus, but...
No, it's like, good thing we were able to do it with only, like, what, 3 people?
Wit rewrote it, but I'm referring to the scene where Lucy's like saying, there are no small parts, only small actors. Well, I know, Lucy, but that's not what I was thinking when I wrote this part.
I know, that's, like, so sad.
I know, it's like, Wit, shut up! I mean, I get it's supposed to be like, so the payoff at the end is she remained faithful even though she had kind of a crappy part, but it kind of turned, then it's just kind of, why did they, yeah.
I just remember, like, a cardboard, it's like, there's nothing smart parts, only small actors. And then Wit's even like, yeah, well.
Yeah. I mean, I get Connie making the cardboard cutout statement, but that's not a Wit thing to say.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Front page news. In an attempt to get out of gym class, Kurt and Oscar join the Odyssey Owl, but their lack of experience causes problems.
How is this, like, a full episode plot? Like, how is this the only thing that's happening in the episode?
They talk a lot. Also, a
Like,
lot of these episodes are like 18, 19 minutes in this album.
Yeah. Still, this, like, to me screams like a great, like, B-plot.
Yeah.
Or, like, a great... Like, it's a fine episode, but it's just kind of like, okay. Like, we've seen stuff like this before.
Right.
And then, like, the end where it's like, man, like, I was with you about these things, but then it's like, then about his, like, what, gym sock collection? It's like,
And
I
duck
knew
noises.
you guys were fake. Huh?
And duck noises.
And duck noises. Well, I knew you were faking.
So wait, when these other kids go write the new version, will she realize that was the only real part of the story?
Well, that's the joke at the end, remember? He yells to Lucy, don't write about his gym socks
Oh,
or
yeah.
duck noises.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is clever. It's a fun little...
Right. Here's the thing. It's a fine episode. The one hole I see in this is, you know, school newspapers aren't super strict with who they let in. I can't imagine Kurt and Oscar would be the only 2 people to try this.
Yeah, and it's also not like that big. Yeah, some people take certain things to get out of certain things. Like, they shouldn't, but, like, this whole idea where it's like, oh, you're gonna take newspaper instead of gym, is like, that's not really, like, it's just when it is. Like, yeah, it's not like they are, like, not doing a replacement for it. Like, the journalism thing would replace it.
Oh yeah.
Which is it's just weird.
Yeah, I agree. Fine episode, over a little quickly, but again, I don't know how they didn't hit play. So, Lincoln, parts 1 and 2. Jimmy uses the imagination station to travel back to the 1800s. He meets up with Abraham Lincoln in Washington, D.C., but events soon take a drastic turn. Okay.
I never knew what was going on in this episode.
Well,
I
so-
don't know if I've ever heard this one,
So,
honestly.
fun fact: Wit invents a remote for the imagination station in this episode, and it's the only time it comes up until years later when Nathan Hoobler brings it back as a fan reference.
Wow.
And for reference, John, Nathan Hoobler's the one we met when we went to Focus all those years ago.
Yeah. But
You
what
met him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're real cool.
He looks like the kind of guy who would start the first Odyssey blog and then wind up writing for the show. Not in a bad way, in case he listens to this.
Yeah, in case you're listening, we very much like you. Here's the thing. I like this episode. I think it's a good on them for actually having this episode be 2 parts. However, it always felt confusing to me, especially when it starts with being like, "You ended up in my backyard."
That is kind of true.
And it's like supposed to be the White House backyard, right?
Right.
Which is just kind of weird. Like, it's a weird place to start off, and you're kind of like, what's going on?
Oh, they
Then
use
it
it again in
goes-
Bernard and Jeremiah, so just to say that. But
Okay. But it's just kind of like, and then like, I think there's like a time jump, but then they're on the boat, and I don't remember there's a time jump, but he's just on there for like a few weeks.
I'm sure the machine solves that.
It feels like the pacing's weird, because it's supposed to take place at, like, the last some weeks of the Civil War.
Right.
Then he's
Yeah.
suddenly Appomattox, and it's like, Jimmy, I haven't seen you since whatever. You're with the Confederates now?
Well, that's an imagination station thing. This one does kind of feel a lot goofier than some of their historical episodes.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole ending where Jimmy tries to stop Lincoln from being assassinated.
Yeah.
And Wit's explanation, you can't change history, Jimmy, but it's the imagination station.
That's like there's so many episodes where they try to change history,
Well-
and then it's like it's rigged so they can't.
Well, I kind of wish they would give like some in-universe explanation, like the imagination station has certain fixed points that will happen no matter what you do.
No, it's because it's still a program. They have to put in the programs.
Oh,
So they're like, this isn't allowed. Like, you can't be at this spot. Like, even though it seems like pretty, like, non-linear, I am sure it's,
oh yeah.
like, it's like you're going here whether you like to or not.
Well, right, yeah, that's true. Hey, we could still crowdfund that imagination station VR game.
It would look, if we made it, it would just look like a bunch of blocks.
Minecraft.
Huh. I think they have.
It wouldn't even
Minecraft
look
VR.
it wouldn't even look as good as Minecraft.
Alrighty.
We can't hope for that type of quality.
Oh yeah.
I think at like Focus on the Family, they should have like an imagination station where you go inside this like little machine thing, and then they have like a TV screen and like buttons, and it's like choose your own adventure, but like a movie.
You see, Leah, I thought they should have done this years ago, but now with VR, you could really do something cool with
Yeah,
it.
I think that
Yeah.
would be great to add like a number of years ago. But yeah, now with VR, it's kind of like, well, you should just do that. But then that's so hard to program.
Well, even now with VR, but I mean, would it replace their you record yourself in an episode thing?
I don't know if they do it that much. Like, I think,
I mean, you have to book ahead of time. We could all go down to Focus and do that when we go visit Gretchen and Colin
mhm.
and whatever
Yeah.
his name is.
Caden.
Caden.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't even get a Wad Fam chalk sod when I went.
Oh yeah.
They do have those. That's like
Yeah.
the one thing they have. Everything
I
else is
got
like
root beer. Like,
They do have pizza, but it's not cooked in a copy machine.
oh, no, that's
Yeah.
disappointing. I
mean-
did go down the slide, though.
I think they took that out.
How?
Some guy got stuck in it.
Was that you?
No, well, one, I remember seeing an episode with Wooten, but I do truly think they took the slide out.
Wow, that would be really sad.
I would agree. Then there's almost no point in going.
I know.
But
I'm sure the popularity of that's kind of slumped in years, though.
I feel like one of these
Probably.
days, we should all go up there and record an episode of us just going through the Focus on the Family Center.
Let's. Because I wouldn't go now that I'm older, because I went when I was like 5.
Yeah.
So in some ways, it was like kind of magical to me because I was 5, but then other ways, I was like, what? Like,
Yeah. Because I think they're still
Yeah.
using like the OG Odyssey designs around as cutouts. So,
yeah.
but yeah, actually, if you want to send us some money to go on that trip, I'll put a Kickstarter campaign in the.
No, he won't. No, he won't. Can we stop making up these fake things? I'm tired of doing the disclaimers.
They know I'm kidding.
Well,
Alrighty.
you never know.
True. Isaac the Courageous. Isaac Morton is pressured to join the Bones of Wrath to fit in and hopes to prove himself that he has courage.
I don't like these Isaac episodes.
Well, it's weird. You have 2 Isaac episodes in a row that are not about him taking something Wit says to him and throwing it out of proportion.
Let me say this,
Right.
though. I feel like one issue with the Isaac episodes is they're so generic. Like, it's like, oh, I'm gonna join the tough guys. And it's like, oh, wait, I don't have to join the tough guys to be
brave.
tough, to be brave. It's like, oh, someone said I should give away, like, we should give to the poor. I'm gonna give away all my stuff. The one earlier in this album, it is kind of like, oh, I'm insecure. Like, this, like, I don't want to work with this guy. Like, it scares me. It's like, oh, he's just as scared as I am.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a fun
And it's
episode.
so weird.
Oh.
It's so weird to me they chose Isaac out of every kid to give episodes that like have a moniker where it's like Isaac this, because Isaac himself isn't that great of a character. He's
Right.
fine, like I like him fine, but he's not like so like has such a great personality.
Right. Now, I could be very, very wrong about this, but I think this is like the first canonical appearance of Rodney.
That is possible.
Yeah.
Because Wit says I need to have a talk with this Rodney fellow, as if they've never met before.
On the wrath.
I'm
Oh, yes,
looking.
it is.
Let's
Never
see.
mind. It is definitely the first
It
appearance.
is?
According to the
Wow.
wiki, yes.
That
So-
would make sense, because, yeah.
Right. But no one will ever replace Jay in our hearts.
Oh my gosh, I love Jay.
Maybe we should get the actor on the show.
Hey, his name is Wit, so
That is true.
I thought that was hilarious when I found that out. It's
It is quite amusing, actually.
like how ironic.
Yeah. Alrighty. One bad apple. Tom investigates what could be causing people to become sick from eating his apples. Okay.
The real the secret beginnings of a much larger.
Yes, I was just thinking about that. Especially because the episode goes full on PSA for the last 7 minutes. It's kind of cool they tied this back in later.
Well, that's one nice thing about early Odysseys. They actually tried to tie stuff together. Even though, like, wasn't it implied that
That the spill
No.
was kind of intentional, yes. Later down the
No.
road.
Yeah, later down the road they kind of argue that, though that could have just been, I forget, the Glossman trying to like get it like
Glossman is
in
not
like
in
trying
this
to
episode,
bring, right.
nor does he have a spectacular mustache, but
They also make the guys, like the guy who runs that company, to seem so shady.
yes. And because here's the thing, it ends very similarly to the shampoo episode where we're trying our best, but sometimes our best efforts slip through. Which I
Yeah.
believed in the shampoo episode. Here it was kind of, well, when he starts getting on his soapbox, it's a little, okay, come on, man.
Right. Well, the shampoo was actually a mistake. Like, remember, it was like
Yes, I do.
it was like a disgruntled employee.
Right.
But this one, he's just like, well, you know, sometimes like it has to go somewhere, or it's something weird, you know.
Yeah.
Also, who puts apples on a sundae?
It was a fruit sundae.
I mean, people put like apple pie filling,
Right,
Yeah,
but they're like,
but like
what's
Yeah.
even a fruit sundae?
Cherry.
I always imagine the fruit and yogurt parfait from McDonald's.
Right. It's like I've never heard the phrase except in this episode of fruit sundae.
We'll look into this, everyone. Don't worry.
Like some sundaes have fruit in them, but I've never like bananas.
It's like you don't order, hey, can I have a fruit sundae? Like,
Yeah.
that sounds weird.
That is true.
What? Tom's bananas are poisoned.
Bananas don't grow in Odyssey. They only grow in
Cherries?
tropical climates.
I mean, for all
Well,
we
we-
know, Odyssey could be
yeah,
out of the country.
We don't know.
That is true.
I'm
But-
looking up fruit sundaes. They look very disappointing.
Here's the thing. As far as, like, an episode that normally doesn't have environmental messages doing an environmental episode, this is one of the better ones in that category.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Yeah.
at least they don't retcon in all this stuff so it works.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm sorry. The first result for fruit sundaes is from Food and Wine magazine, and it has 1 star out of 994 reviews.
Ooh. That can't be good.
That could be from something else, because that seems like an exorbitant amount of people making one very bad dish. However, I think it tells you that fruit sundaes aren't necessarily wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's why only 3 kids ordered them.
No, it was one kid had a fruit sundae, one kid had a caramel-covered apple, and one had an apple turnover.
Oh yeah, that makes even less sense.
I feel like this fruit
Like
sundae thing's gonna haunt you.
first the idea that
The fruit
Um,
sundae.
first the idea that like Wits End is like doing caramel covered apples like there on site is
It's-
one thing. Second, the idea that they're also making apple turnovers, like this doesn't sound like the traditional menu that's been described thus far on the show.
Well, Wits
Guys,
what?
fan theory. What if With Send is really just McDonald's?
Ooh, they need a drive-through window. That's something Jason and Jack can have a fight over.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think here's the thing. Wits End's always been kind of an ice cream shop, but then they'll randomly throw stuff on the menu if it suits the episode.
Well, it's always been ice cream and pizza.
I feel like they've
See,
listed
but-
other...
I didn't know about pizza until like 2 years ago. I was like, what? There was
But-
pizza?
That's established in the first episode.
It's
See, but
established
I
in the-
didn't hear that till like not
It's
too long
established in the
ago.
first episode. It's mentioned in like the third episode that's banned because it's a Harley episode where a girl forces her friend to go on a crash diet, and then it's referenced years
Mm-hmm.
down the road multiple times as a gag.
Well, and isn't it mentioned like the Chad Pearson episode?
Yes.
Like,
But
I
even
know a
then,
place
it's
where
kind
you
of
get
a
some good
gag.
pizza.
Right. Like, it's clearly supposed to be like a joke, like, oh yeah, they serve pizza there. So. But, yeah.
Chad Pearson.
What? Oh, Chad.
That Chad Pearson episode was so utterly stupid.
I know.
I think we've talked about it.
I think we have, yes.
Yeah.
I will say, one thing about this episode that did make me laugh is when we're trying to sneak into Edgebiter, and Tom's worried, and Wit just says, Tom, we're not doing anything. We're just taking a nice stroll down the river that happens to pass by Edgebiter. Excuse me, everybody. Can you please turn around? I don't know why, just the timing of that to me.
It
Yeah.
hit you the right way.
Yes. All right, speaking of funny, quote-unquote funny episodes, Thanksgiving at home. Well, George and Mary Barkley are sick in bed on Thanksgiving. Jimmy and Donna decide to take the dinner into their own hands.
I love this episode.
Okay, I have to rebuke Jimmy's claim nobody gets sick on Thanksgiving Day, because years ago I had a bad stomach flu on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, the story gets better. It was at our aunt's house, but my grandma felt so bad for me, she wanted to have dessert at her house where I was staying. Which,
I haven't heard about this.
I don't think you were there. I was in second grade,
No,
so
I
you
wasn't.
would probably have just been born.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I haven't heard about it.
It wasn't like an eventful Thanksgiving for anybody but me. Oh no, that was the year they
Yeah.
had soup. So,
Yeah.
Okay, but you said a few years ago I was sick, and so it's like, whoa, when did this happen?
Okay, yeah, so it was at least 15
Yeah.
years ago, but
Okay.
Yeah, so I think this is a very good episode. It's a very funny episode. However, I it's not like a good comparison, but I always just think the Slumber Party episode's much funnier and has a similar feel because it's these kids trying to do all this stuff without parental supervision. I think the fire alarm goes off in both.
there's smoke in this one. I don't think the fire alarm goes off.
There's pizza in both.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Slumber Party, that's a good episode.
I know. So, as like someone who once made the entire Thanksgiving dinner by himself, can I just go off on a few weird things about this episode for like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, not 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Why is the
I think
turkey?
this episode's already running pretty long.
Okay, so this is my big thing that irked me. Why is the turkey still rock hard on Thanksgiving morning?
Right,
Didn't take it
because
out, right?
but like you're supposed to take it out like 2 days before.
You're supposed to either put it in the fridge like a week before, or put it in a bucket of cold water in your garage for 2 days.
Yeah,
Wasn't
and
there
so
a thing that people used to put it in their bathtubs?
People still
Like
do
the
that.
morning of.
or people put it in their sink, like
Right.
Right,
That's what my mom
very
always
early
did.
very early the night of.
Well, right, but the turkey should not be
Or
rock
night
hard
before.
if the mom got sick that night.
right,
I
yeah,
think
she
she
wasn't
got those-
expecting to get sick, so she
I
would have
think she-
planned.
I think she got so sick the night before that she couldn't do it. I
The
think
turkey-
is the implication.
I know it's from a joke. The turkey should still be out. Why does she have nothing else ready? Like, I don't know anyone who makes everything the day of.
Well, they also were only cooking for the 4 of them,
Well, right.
so they might have not been having as much.
Well, yeah, but like when I made Thanksgiving dinner for 5 people, I made some stuff a few days out, so I didn't have to make everything on the same day.
Yeah, we made way more than enough for 5 people.
I'm aware of that, but still.
They were probably gonna just have like stuffing, potatoes, a vegetable, and the turkey, and then a dessert.
Well, right, but wouldn't the pie be... You know what? I'm going too much into this. The turkey's really the only factual
You
thing
know
that's
how,
bugging me.
well, you know how many people just use those frozen pies?
They probably just bought one at the grocery store.
Well, even then, they should have been able to take it out and make it.
But that was for dessert.
And so they had to make their dinner.
Okay, true. So, moving on outside of that, this is a... I forgot this scene was in the episode, and it plays really weird today. You know, Jimmy's asking Donna to, Donna's asking Jimmy to help open some cans. And, like, Jimmy wants to watch TV, you know, because it's the man's thing. And then Jimmy says, wow, Donna, I didn't know you were one of those liberated feminists.
Who says that?
Yes.
There is a line like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
All right, Leah will return shortly. But that is
Well,
certainly
this is also the last episode.
Yes,
so-
it is.
So if she's gone, that's fine.
Right.
Oh no, she's back.
Yeah.
But no, I do remember something like you were like, I didn't know you were one of those types.
Right.
Or not, or like it was more totally done as a joke because I think doesn't she say something half like more impact? Oh no, it's like maybe when mom like not this year
Right.
or something like that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Right. Also, plot-wise, you know, this is where Donna has to write the letter to someone she's thankful for, and she is struggling to do it. Then it turns out to her mom and dad, which I have to assume 90% of a class is going to do anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
let's
probably
be
gonna do
fair.
that anyway.
You know how many people do it to the mom and dad anyway? Like that's the fallback.
Right. Like, when she said Mr. Whitaker, at least, well, that would at least be different.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
It would have been more meaningful if they had somehow had it be Jimmy, but you know.
Yeah. Yes, if he had actually like helped her
Yeah,
make the
that.
food, she'd be
Yeah.
like, "I'm really thankful for my brother."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's talk about the little like skits they put on for their parents,
Oh,
Which
yes.
is just kind of weird.
who like it sounds like they're like dying in the bed, and
Yeah.
they're like,
I would be like, go away.
I mean, here's the thing. It reeks of filler, but it's also unintentionally hilarious.
"Yeah."
Like, it's one of those that they thought this episode concept would be cool, but then they realized, oh, this is a radio show, so we can't do any of the funny visuals that tend to come with this type of story. So
That's true.
also, and again, if Jimmy filled up the house with smoke, how did the parents not realize what was going on?
Because when you're like sick like that, you're just so delirious.
Well, I know, but I kind of also like when our mom is sick, she randomly walks downstairs.
To check on you.
Well,
one,
no, but I can't. I know like
when we
she's sick,
actually
you're
were in a
bed, but-
two-story home, she only ever like had 1 or 2 sick days off for the 13 years she was at that business.
That is true.
So she was never like sick enough to actually.
Right. Here's the thing. I've only ever been super duper sick like 2 or 3 times in my life, but all of those times I was very aware of what was going on.
Well, so I feel like them starting the fire downstairs was probably like something minor.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like the whole house was filled with smoke. It was just like she was probably over exaggerating. It's like it's filled with smoke.
Probably.
It's
And
better
they
than-
probably like opened the doors and windows fast enough once they realized what was going on.
That could be. They also opened the flu.
I can almost smell the smoke. It's like I thought I told you to turn off the fire. I did. Then it must be the turkey.
The turkey.
Also, this is a weird episode because it has like this preview for the episode in front of it.
Yes. Yes, I know what you're talking about. They
They have like a teaser of what's gonna be in this episode.
So I seem to recall reading somewhere, and someone can tell me if I'm wrong about this, that this episode was never released until this album because it was so short.
Oh,
So
so they were really trying to fill for time.
right, and allegedly the broadcast version has more sneak peeks.
Uh,
I am checking the broadcast version features more previews than the release version, but the release version has Wit tinkering with an invention, while the broadcast version does not. So, but yeah, that is one thing when I listen back to it. It's a very short episode.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Okay, so that wraps up this album. So how do we rank it?
7.2. Nah, I'll do 7.
Leah?
8.
I'm going to actually score it a 9 just because, other than the Lincoln episode being overly goofy, I enjoyed all of the episodes in this one.
I don't know. I like last week's album better.
Okay. Let's have a debate about
I'll do
it.
7.2.
Alrighty. Well, that wraps up the show, but before we leave and I tell you what album we're doing next week, we're going to start some tabletop gaming.
No, we're not.
No, I've actually really thought about this. I think it'd be kind of fun to do like a version of Dungeons and Dragons, but it's set in Odyssey.
Except there's only 3 of us. One person has to be the DM, and you know how much time
Well,
that game takes.
this is why we're gonna have fans write in scenarios for us.
No, that's not happening. Don't use up your valuable time that God has given you to write scenarios for something that's not gonna happen. Don't do it.
Okay, well, what about more of a fiasco, which isn't as
No.
D&D
No.
intense?
We can't announce things that we have no current scheduled plans to do. You can't just say stuff and be like, send us stuff. And then it's like, we may do it. Like, we probably won't get to it because I don't know when you think that's going to happen.
Thanksgiving.
Do we have to cook the turkey well?
I'll probably deep fry it again, so we'll be fine.
First of all,
Oh, that
If
that
we
was
ever-
good last year.
Oh, yeah.
if we ever do it, we should just have some. First, I still don't think you understand. Even if someone else writes a scenario, someone's still gonna have to perform, like, be the person in charge. So there's only gonna be 2 people playing it.
That's why we get Gabe, Libby, and a few other people.
Yeah, you're not gonna get all those people over Skype to play D&D. maybe it will happen in the distant future, and we'll bring it up then. For now, just forget about it.
But if you do want to send scenarios, don't email.
No,
It's fine.
no,
Hold on.
don't.
Okay.
He won't hold on to them, and he won't use them. So don't
Do we
waste
actually have
time.
an email?
Yes, I put it in the description of every show. It's an adventure through Odyssey at gmail.com.
Yeah, but don't send us scenarios because we're not gonna read them.
Okay. Do you?
Not that we're not
get
gonna.
any
We
emails?
might read them, but we're not gonna like actually
Use
really
them.
do anything with them.
If you do
Here-
send them, please make them G-rated.
No, we just wouldn't do any of them that aren't.
It's people listening to Odyssey. What do you think's gonna happen?
Will thinks there's this deep, dark underground of Odyssey fans that write a bunch of bad. He's told me about this. That write a bunch of like bad fan fiction that's like not appropriate. And I don't know where he's getting this from.
Well, if you Google
Reddit?
Adventures in
No,
Odyssey
Will,
fan fiction,
don't.
it's out there.
But it's not inappropriate.
Well, I've
Like
never
I don't
read
know.
that.
Right, but I'm sure it's not inappropriate. So like, don't stop coming to me and talking to me about this inappropriate Odyssey stuff that doesn't exist.
I don't think we talked about it that much. Anyway. Okay. Aside over.
Wait.
What?
Do you get any emails?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
I'm exhausted.
All right.
This
That does it for-
podcast has trained me.
That does it for this episode.
Emotionally and mentally.
Join us again
Yeah.
next week when we'll discuss Album 9 just in time, i.e. the one where they remake a good chunk of the Harley episodes. So,
Intriguing.
I'm Will.
I'm John.
I'm Leah.
We'll see you next week.